A very good evening to all of you. On behalf of LUB Udyog Bharati Karnataka chapter and IMS Foundation, a very warm welcome to all the participants, industry leaders who have joined us today. For the benefit of our special guests, new members and non-members, I would like to share a brief introduction of LUB Udyog Bharati and IMS Foundation. LUB Udyog Bharati Karnataka is the state chapter of National LUB Udyog Bharati, catering to 24 districts of Karnataka and works towards the empowerment of entrepreneurs in micro and small sector. It plays a very important role in promoting trade and investments in the state. Being the apex organization in Karnataka for MSMEs, it regularly interacts with senior government officials from both the center and the states and oversees trade and investment officers on critical issues concerning MSME sector. LUB-K and IMS Foundation are involved in activities including capacity building for MSME entrepreneurs, industrial visits to showcase best practices and encourage MSMEs to adopt and replicate the same in their own offices, interactive meetings with government departments and overseas trade offices, participation in national and international exhibitions and trade fairs, hosting of national and international exhibition under the Tech Bharat banner and IMS and LUB Udyog Bharati Foundation, hosting and organizing overseas trade delegations for technology transfer, B2B, and joint ventures and collaborations. We have a standalone women entrepreneur cell, which is very actively promoting business among women leaders. Coming back to today's webcast session, we are happy to inform you that LUB Udyog Bharati, along with IMS Foundation, is hosting a series of webinars with trade and investment officers of overseas nations, including the coinciding with the International MSME Day during the month of July. Today, we are focusing on Netherlands region, which will be hosted by Mr. Sujith Shyamanur. He will be showcasing various business opportunities like collaborations, joint ventures, standalone units, trade and marketing prospects, and such similar projects open to MSMEs sector being offered by Netherlands region to Indian business entities. Let me have the pleasure of introducing the speaker today. Mr. Sujith Shyamanur is currently positioned as a Senior Trade and Investment Officer, Ministry of Foreign Affairs at the Consulate General of the Kingdom of Netherlands in Bangalore. He has been working at the Consulate closely to 3 years' time now. He carries over 11 years plus years of work experience, out of which 7 years with foreign governments. His immediate past role was with the South Korean government, where he assisted over 15 plus Korean FMCG companies to land in India. Also, he has facilitated 50 plus international companies by assisting them to do business in India. With this brief introduction, I now officially hand over the session to Mr. Sujith Shyamanur. Sujith?
Thank you, Shekhar. Thank you for the kind introduction. Good afternoon to one and all present at the session. It's a great privilege for me to be with all of you in this session, and I hope I'll be able to deliver some value by the end of the session. So during the presentation, I will cover various topics. I'll also share some trade-related information between both the countries, and also let you know what the consulate does to enhance trade and investment opportunities between both the countries. So the format of the session would be, I would be presenting, I think I would not be taking more than 15 minutes time, and after which I would love to interact with all of you. And of course, you are more than welcome to ask questions at the end of the presentation. So I hope it's clear with all of you, and Shekhar, we could begin with the presentation. Next slide. So this is how I'm going to go ahead with the presentation. I will first begin with the overview of Dutch and India trade, and then I will then speak about the few important sectors where India plays a critical role, of course, and of course even the Netherlands, wherein Netherlands companies has opportunities to export products to India and vice versa as well. But that does not Shekhar, Oh, yeah, right. So I will also be letting you know what the opportunities are for Indian companies in which sectors they could export. But of course, this is definitely not limited to the sectors which I'm going to speak about. There are enormous opportunities between both the countries with respect to trade. So as and when we move ahead with the presentation, I think you will have more ideas. Next slide, Shekhar. Next one, please. Right. So this slide talks about the. Can you make this slide bigger, Shekhar, for the audience to have a clear view? Maybe F5. Yeah. Thank you. That's great. So this picture presents you about the overview of the trade between the Netherlands and India. So over the past few years, the bilateral trade between the Netherlands and India has been around 10 billion euros, both the services and goods combined, with very good growth prospects. Dutch exports to India, however, have remained stagnant in the last decade. So Dutch exports to India are currently at 2 billion euros in the last financial year. And during the period of April 2018 to March 2020, the Dutch export basket to India consisted of 39% of high-tech goods as compared to 19% of high-tech goods for its global trade basket. So what this means to say is there are a lot of high-tech goods being exported from the Netherlands to India, and the average is way beyond the Netherlands trade exports average to other countries. However, when it comes to medium and low-tech goods, constitute roughly around the same share of the export baskets. For exports to India, that is around 18%, and exports to the world is 17%. So India and other parts of the world where the Netherlands exports its medium and low tech goods is around 18 to 17%, but we see a lot of opportunity for the high tech goods to be exported from the Netherlands to India. And in the last two financial years, from April 2018 to March 2020 to be precise, the Dutch imports from India rose year on year by 13%. So while the Dutch exports to India are at the same level, the Netherlands is India's fourth largest. Not, I'm sure not many would know about this, but this is an interesting statistics. That the Netherlands is India's fourth largest trading partner in the EU. That is after UK, Germany, and Belgium. So out of the entire continent, at least the European Union I'm speaking about, the Netherlands definitely plays a critical role in terms of bilateral trade and investments between both the countries. So with the Netherlands and India having a long history of economic partnership, there have been recent efforts to accelerate this trade growth, supported by visit of several trade missions in the past several years. The visits have significantly boosted the bilateral trade between both the countries. Next slide, Shekhar, please. So what I would now be doing is I will speak about certain sectors which are critical, or in terms of value at least, where the Netherlands is exporting to India. So of course I would not be in a position to cover all the sectors, but I'm trying to cover the 2-3 sectors which has a good value and probably good potential as well. So left side, towards the left side is about the medical devices. So it speaks about what the India's opportunity is when it comes to the medical sector. So India is now the fourth largest medical device market in Asia, that is after Japan, China, and South Korea. And you can see what is the global imports when it comes to medical devices. It stands around $607 billion dollars, and India's export is a very it's at a very low volume. That's predominantly because of the lack of technology and infrastructure movement. And India imports over $10 billion dollars of worth medical devices. So how can we correlate this to the Netherlands? So the Netherlands was the fifth largest, highest medical device exporter to India in 2019 and has continued to export high-tech medical devices to India over the years. So the combined imports from all the top five exporters to India, that is USA, Germany, Singapore, and the Netherlands, is almost 60% of the total imports of medical devices in India. So I'm sure not many would again know about this. So if you see, the Netherlands occupies the fifth position when it comes to exporting medical devices to India. So that again validates the point that why Netherlands exports high-tech goods to India. And trade between the Netherlands and India has huge potential for growth, given the limited penetration for medical devices in India. And since the medical devices in industry in India heavily relies on imports, that is, they heavily rely on other countries, more specifically to do with USA, China, Germany, and Singapore. So I see there's a great potential for Indian importers and Dutch exporters to leverage this. So if you could actually also see, have mentioned the few target HS codes and description of goods at the the last part of the slide where it explains those are the few HS codes where I found out there is huge potential for India to import from the Netherlands. So this is based upon our research which we have done, and looks like these are the few HS codes and few products which could which where the Dutch exporters and Indian importers could leverage upon. So I will also talk about the electronics and components. So the electronics and electronics market anticipates at a CAGR of 11 to 12% between 2019 and 24. So this is something which I'm speaking about the Indian electronics and components market. So the Netherlands is definitely a significant electronic exporter to India. The significant components are exported to India in terms of like the mobile phones, the network equipments, with 32% of overall exports of the Netherlands to India comprised of only this particular segment. So that's how important this sector is also for India and the Netherlands when it comes to trade. Apart from the Netherlands, of course, China and Hong Kong are the major suppliers of electronic components to India, followed by Singapore, Vietnam, and South Korea. The Netherlands can indulge in increasing their market share for sure in following these targeted HSM codes. So I see again a huge potential for the HS codes which are mentioned below for business in this particular industry. Next slide, please. So this is again another couple of slides which speaks about electrical machinery and equipments. The Netherlands is again very strong at electrical machinery. So if you see the global imports is around 53.7 billion US dollars, and India's import is very less compared to. I mean, sorry, India's export is very less compared to its export. Basically, the difference between export and import. You see, the import is almost twice the figures of the export. So again, huge opportunity for for the countries to leverage. And if you see the industry in the Netherlands currently comprises many prominent producers, with the Netherlands acting as a gateway and trading post to Europe for the import and export due to the advantage of Rotterdam ports. The value of exports of electrical machinery from the Netherlands totaled around 51 billion US dollars in 2019. So this is the total value which they have exported from the Netherlands to other parts of the globe in the year 2019, and that value is around 57 billion US dollars, which is up by 3.37% compared to 2018. And with respect to Netherlands and India, the Netherlands is again responsible for exporting major electrical equipments segments in India in 2019 and has continued to export high-tech equipment to India over the over the years. So during 2019, electrical machinery imports have remained steady due to a stable demand. And coming to the chemicals aspect, India ranked sixth in the world in the chemicals market, and you see India's export is definitely not that bad compared to its import. And I think there's a lot of infrastructure that is being created in India to become the leader in this particular industry as far as the statistics go by. Um, how do we correlate again this with respect to the Netherlands? Has Europe's fourth largest chemical industry. The combination of Rotterdam port, good infrastructure, top universities, and excellent skilled manpower in the Netherlands has attracted many of the world's largest chemical companies to land and establish themselves in the Netherlands. So chemicals turnover in 2019 in the Netherlands was around 55 billion euros, including 5 billion euros from the pharmaceutical industries alone. And the Netherlands chemical industry employs over 57,000 people, including 13,000 in the pharmaceutical industry. And they have close to 500 chemical companies located in the Netherlands, and it's the second largest industry in the Netherlands for that matter. So that's how important it is for the Netherlands. And the first most important industry is, of course, the agriculture, which is the second. I think the Netherlands is the second highest in the world. So I'm just, it's just a trivia that I would like to inform. So yeah. So yeah, with over 8,000 variants, the Indian chemical industry is one of the most diversified sectors, and it's the largest in revenue as well. So considering how both the countries are working in this sector and how important it is for both the countries, there are a lot of opportunities for both the companies to collaborate and for both the countries to collaborate and work. And we already have major companies, major Dutch companies, chemical companies in India, like for example, ExxonMobil and a few other Dutch chemical companies are already here in India, and they are doing extremely well. Next slide, please. Next one. So here I'm going to cover about what could possibly be the opportunities for Indian sectors, or possibly look for Indian companies to explore opportunities in the Netherlands in terms of exporting from India to the Netherlands. There are various sectors, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to limit myself to two sectors at the moment. So I'm just going to cover the pharmaceutical as well as the textile part of it. But having said that, there are enormous potential to export various things from India to the Netherlands. So pharmaceuticals, so exports of Indian pharmaceuticals, including the bulk drugs, intermediates, drug formulations, biologicals, Ayush and herbal products and surgical products, for that matter, reached 14.3 billion euros as of October 2020. So India exported pharmaceuticals worth 12.2 billion in the financial year 21. The biggest export destination for India pharma, of course, like most of us know, is the United States of America. And 32% of India's pharma exports were to North America, followed by 18% to Africa and 16% to European Union. So if you see that way, most of the exports from India when it comes to pharmaceuticals has taken place outside EU. However, EU still has a significant share of 16%, and Indian companies are focusing on export opportunities in regulated and semi-regulated markets. In 2018, the Netherlands exported 24.6 billion euros in pharmaceutical products, making it the seventh largest exporter of pharmaceutical products in the world. So Netherlands is, of course, no less. We are also, the Netherlands is also close to India that way, but they are still the seventh largest exporter of pharmaceutical products in the world. At the same year, pharmaceutical products was the fifth most exported product in the Netherlands, and main destination of pharmaceutical products exports from the Netherlands are the five countries, that is Germany, United Kingdom, United States of America, Italy, and France. So these are the top 5 destinations for the Netherlands to export pharmaceuticals. So exports to the Netherlands, when it comes to the bilateral trade in the area of pharmaceutical products, you can see that exports to the Netherlands grew from India to the Netherlands grew by almost 60%. That's 60% in financial year 19 compared to that financial year of 18. With the dominant products being organ extracts, medicaments, and the prominent exports from India in financial year 19 was also to do with formulations and biologicals, like I've already mentioned. So these are the few aspects where India is exporting, a few areas or few sectors where India is exporting to the Netherlands. Then I would like to now touch upon the textile part of it. So we know India is always a hub for textiles, and I'm sure not many would be surprised that a lot of textiles and garments are being exported to Europe, including the Netherlands. So India is the fifth largest exporter of textiles and apparel during 2020. It was also the net exporter in 2020 with significant imports with significant imports in textiles and apparel. Due to the adverse, of course, because of COVID, a lot of things have gone haywire, and we hope that we get to recover soon when it comes to textiles. But of course, we know our neighboring countries are also doing extremely well in the area of textiles, like Bangladesh, Vietnam. All of these countries are doing extremely well at the moment. So the import of textiles and apparel products by the Netherlands in 2020 is estimated to be around 14.25 billion euros. So import in 2020 reduced by 0.9% for the reasons we know. So import of such products in 2019 is what I was talking about. So China, Germany, and Bangladesh are the top 3 import sources for textiles and apparel products, with more than 47% share in imports. So Bangladesh gets the benefit of few taxes, since they're still, I think they're still considered as one of the, they do have some subsidies and incentives which are provided, and hence I think that's the reason why they're able to do better than other countries in Asia for exporting from Asia to the Netherlands or to Europe for that matter. So export of textiles and apparel products from India to the Netherlands in 2020 is estimated to be around 439 million euros. So that's definitely not a small amount. So India is definitely doing good, but there is still good scope for Indian companies to explore opportunities when it comes to exporting of apparel and textiles or garments in Europe or with the Netherlands. So India was a net exporter of textiles and apparel products to the Netherlands in 2020. So with this, I will, these were the few sectors which I, would, have touched upon. But there are more opportunities, of course. But in the interest of time, like I already mentioned, I would not want to, speak about every sector. So I have spoken about all these sectors, keeping in mind the value. Value and volume. So these are the 2 most important criteria, and hence I have touched upon. Previous slide, Shikhar. So what do we do at the consulate? So I would like to briefly touch upon what we exactly do at the consulate. What are our primary role and responsibilities? So just to give you a brief, our consulate, the Dutch consulate in Bangalore is now 3 years old. It's relatively new, and it's the 9th diplomatic mission which is present in Bangalore. So we hope there will be many more diplomatic missions which will be established in Bangalore soon. So what do we do at the consulate? We do not offer any kind of consular services like visa and all of those things. That is taken care by the embassy. What the consulate here in Bangalore does is mostly related to the economic activity. So that's something which I'm going to speak to you about now. So inbound promotion and facilitation means to say that we assist Dutch companies to do business in southern part of India. So this can be to do with trade, investment, or finding importers, or exporters if the Dutch companies wants to source products from India. So anything and everything we do for Dutch companies for them to establish relationship with the Indian industries or Indian business people. And investment promotion and facilitation, yes, that's also something which I've already touched upon. So if any Dutch companies are looking to invest in the Indian market, that's something which we help them right from introducing them to relevant people on how to make it as smooth as possible for them to set up their establishments. It can be to do with sales office, brands, subsidiaries, or the factories, anything. So we help them from right from the scratch till the time they are up and running. So that is what we also do. And I'm not sure how many of you know, but Netherlands is the fifth, I think the fourth largest FDI source for India. So that much of money is coming from the Netherlands. That is because of various reasons which I would not like to touch upon. But just for your knowledge, Netherlands is the fourth largest investor in India, and it's the fourth largest source when it comes to FDI for India. The third point, JV trade and outsourcing facilitation. So there are a few Dutch companies. We do get few inquiries that the Netherlands, the Dutch companies would like to get into joint ventures with Indian companies, or the Dutch companies come with the technologies, and they would like to produce some few of their products with their technology and export it back to their own country and other parts of the world. We all know why India is turning out to be a manufacturing hub, simply because of we have that kind of we are creating that kind of infrastructure. We also have that the manpower, the cost of manpower is not that expensive as compared to Europe or other parts of the developed world. So, and trade, of course, is something which I already touched upon, a huge potential between India and EU. Right now, the European Union is in negotiation with the Indian central government to sign a bilateral free trade agreement. So we already have free trade agreement with various countries, but now in the Indian government and the European Union, both of them are in the process of negotiating the free trade agreement, and we hope that comes in place so that the trade between both the countries will enhance further. And innovation collaboration, and yeah, also outsourcing. So India is definitely an outsourcing hub as well, irrespective of manufacturing or services. So in fact, last year there were a couple of Dutch companies where I assisted them to, they were asking for assistance in terms of finding a manufacturing partner where they could manufacture products for them and send it back to the Netherlands and sell their products across different parts of Europe. So we also get these kind of inquiries at times. Innovation collaboration is something which we have a separate department where the innovation department takes care of innovation related activities. What this means to say is there are MNCs, universities from the Netherlands which collaborate with universities in India, research organizations, the government. So there are, it's a very niche, segment, and a lot of innovation-related activities take place to enhance the innovation-related, activities between both the countries. And G2G is something which we also play a critical role. So we are the one point of contact for all the state governments in the southern part of India. So anything related to bilateral when it comes to Netherlands and Karnataka, or Netherlands and Tamil Nadu, we will be the one point of contact in terms of enhancing trade, investment, and other economic activities between the state and the Netherlands. So in fact, we also have signed, the Netherlands has signed an MOU with the state government of Karnataka for cooperation in multiple areas, especially in the areas of agriculture, and in the area of cyber security, in the area of startups, and also I think a couple of other sectors. So these are the few important sectors which we had identified and signed an MOU, and that is the